But from there on, we became fast friends as we worked in the community garden at the corner of Charlie and Thurston, and in so many, many projects. And I came to know her as a woman of integrity, loving her neighbors and loving her community, and a shout always to everybody who went by, because she had worked in the bank and she knew everybody, I think. And so I'd be digging and she'd be waving, and it was wonderful to work with her. And after years of being involved in interfaith action, she took a step out in faith, in God's faith, to minister to a Catholic community, which was outside her norm. And we embraced her and she embraced us, and we really came to love her. And she worked so hard on our behalf, reaching out to our members and the community at large. And I nominated Roxie last year after she passed, but I had really planned to nominate her before that happened. But I'm going to pass this over to Charlene, because this is the gal who worked in the muck of the garden and worked in the muck of city politics and neighborhood controversy, and she worked alongside with Roxie and really got to know her so very, very well. So I get, sure.
Roxie loved her community and worked tirelessly to ensure it continued to be a great place to live. Early on, Roxie said she never wanted to get involved the way her parents, Bea and Rocky Simmons, got involved in the community. But ultimately, she could not maintain that distance. She loved the neighborhood and the people in it just too much. And she said that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and she really got involved, and that her family instilled her in that commitment to move on, and all of us have benefited from that. Where she saw a need, or when someone talked to her about problems in the neighborhood or whatever, she would get involved. But she always challenged them too. She would say, what are they doing? What are you doing to help solve the issue? One of her favorite ways of delivering that challenge was to say, you gotta step up to the plate. How many times have you heard her say that? Yes? Yeah, many times. You gotta step up to the plate. Roxie stepped up early on, and she never stopped. She left her fingerprints all over the ward, in big ways and in small ways. Here are just a few. When she and I worked together with residents and the business owners and the city officials to revitalize Charlie Avenue, we became the street walkers. We knocked on doors, we talked to business people, we tried to gel a community there together, and everybody on that street loved Roxie for it. She knocked on doors for voter registration, challenging people to step up the plate and get involved. She supported people any way that she could, especially when she felt they were being wronged. But she also challenged them if she felt that they made poor choices. And I'm sure family and friends can attest to that. I know I can. She worked tirelessly, last Kathy said, in the community garden at Thurston and Charlie, and was always there to give advice to other neighborhood groups who were starting a garden, and she loved her flowers. She loved the Gardner Street Rec Center, and it was when it was being considered to be closed, Roxie began a series of events with her and her family that they initiated, that the center became eventually rededicated as the Roxie Ann Sinkler Recreation Center. But she's always been involved with people. Building relationships was a special gift for her. On the first anniversary of her death, I wanted to honor her in some way, so I decided to work in the garden at Charlie and Thurston. Some of you know that I'm only allowed to pick up the trash there. After I pulled up and threw out what I thought were weeds. She put her hands on my shoulders and said, "You know I love you, Charlene, but from now on, you're only allowed to pick up the trash." Anyway, I was bending over in the bushes, picking up some winter garbage, and a woman and a little girl stopped on the sidewalk, and she was very excited, and she said, "We've been waiting all winter to see you." And when I stood up and she looked at me, well, she knew I wasn't Roxie. So she started to apologize, but we had the very best conversation, and it proved to me how much Roxie touched people's lives in small ways and in big ways, and it was a special gift for her, and that she shared with all of us, and you just never knew who you would know that would know Roxie. I don't know if you knew this, but one of Roxie's pride and joys was a group of young girls, preteens. She began meeting them at the rec center, and they called themselves the Sisters to Sisters. Roxie always worried about the young girls coming up, and particularly African American girls, at the times of their lives when they're making choices, what's going to determine the path that they're going to go on. She had speakers come in. I know her sister was involved in it. This group of girls met for years and built relationships with each other and with Roxie. She was so very proud of the Sisters to Sisters program. They had discussions about personal goal setting and school issues, the value of education, motivational and self-esteem speakers came to talk to them. I never knew her to be as proud of anything as she was of that particular group of girls. She said it was a calling for her and she loved it. And the things I mentioned that were talked about in those groups were things that I heard from her sister, but I also heard from girls involved in that group. She had a deep and abiding faith and always shared it with others. She lived her life with honesty, integrity, pride, and love for her friends, her family, and her community. She will be greatly missed. Mm-hmm. I feel especially privileged to be able to present her award.
I am Roxie's son, the favorite apple. If my mother was here, she'd say, it's not about me, it's about the community. We must not find ourselves only sitting down and complaining about what's wrong with our neighborhood and our city, but standing up with a humble voice, a strong spirit, and a willing hand to create change. Change for the better. It's an old African proverb my mother told me that she told me her father, Rocky, taught her, and is that one finger can move a rock, but a hand can move a mountain. And I think sometimes my mother was the whole hand by herself. That's true. But I just want to encourage all of you to stick together and trust in the scriptures that tell us he has made us the head and not the tail. We are lenders and not borrowers. We can do all things through Christ Jesus that strengthens us. And no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anthony Simmons. I'm the oldest, first, most experienced. special bond. And sometimes in sharing a family member with the rest of the community, it's easy to lose sight on what they're trying to do and where you fit in. But in the overall scheme of things, we had several conversations about where we wanted our community to go. And as we push forward, we see that the working class people are losing out. And we're losing out because we're not united like we're supposed to be. We talk among each other and we have a good time, but we need to really dig down deep and come together and pool resources, start building businesses, small businesses like Thurston Garage. We need to support small businesses like that. We need to have our dollar in our own community circulate many more times than it does. Because right now it comes in, we have $1 and it goes out. It's not circulated like it's supposed to be. The middle class is a dying breed, and we're currently at war. And my mother used to always say, when will people wake up? Because they're sleeping. Don't sleepwalk through life. Wake up and join the fight. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jamal, the real favorite. Not only am I the baby boy, but I'm the one who most looks like her, so they have it wrong. But I just want to thank everybody for this award. It means a lot to me and my family. A lot of times we don't really know how much a person impacts our lives every day. As we can all tell, me and my brothers, we missed that birthday call at 7:30 in the morning. For some reason, she liked to get up that early while everybody was asleep. But yet, you still missed that phone call. So, many times during the day, I look at my phone and I go, wow, I haven't called my mother today. And then it's, something that you just never get used to. But my mom was obviously a special woman. Part of the reason why we're all in this room today. And she loved us all. And as my mom would always like to say, walk in your blessings and prosper. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Roxie Ann